Hey everybody, what's good? Just coming off for Sensational Sunday. I was about to go and pull myself together and get my look together. It says here my space is running low here on this phone too, so I want to try to make this as quick as possible. I just wanted to speak to this thing about appearing homeless and or displaced, because I talked to a gentleman this morning that took time to pray with me and brought me the other book. So shout out to him. I wanted to say thank you very much for the book regarding healing, the ministry of healing. Okay, and that's again by, I forget who it. This one doesn't have the author here. Oh yeah, by E.G. White. That's her name. So thank you for that. And but I wanted to discuss this briefly. Appearing to be homeless, as displaced, and actually being homeless or displaced. Right. You guys, in order for you to interview for positions, you cannot take your belongings with you. People are very weird about belongings is in this realm from what I'm seeing. They prefer that you don't have any, you know what I'm saying, or no more than like a little bag or something. In all actuality, over time, if you're a human being, you will accumulate necessities, essentials, not things that you would just be like, oh, this is extra and I can discard it, right? If you're a human being, over time, to keep you from having to go and keep repurchasing things, not to mention people can identify you by your clothing and the things that you have, if they're accustomed to seeing you in specific clothing items, right? Again, there should be no money, if you're in that situation in between places and, you're unable to sustain or uphold expenses. You should, being in a position to keep going and purchasing items such as clothes, that's an expense, right? So, when you see people and they have accumulated items and you're like, how is it that they have things? It's people that really think like that. Like, how can they have things? They shouldn't have anything. Why do they have anything? And the reason being is so that they do not have to continue to have to keep going and purchasing things. Nobody has money for that. You should be able to launder your clothes. You should be able, and wear them more than one time. Especially if you're out here exposed to the elements. You want to remain clean, neat and clean, so you don't have a situation where you're a host for germs that can make you sick. So I know it sounds crazy, and you guys don't think about it on that level, but the people that are homeless or displaced also have to have the things that you essentially have to have. You're both human beings, right? So, everybody goes through a period of financial loss. A lot of people are just now experiencing going into that season, whereas I've been in it for quite some time and I'm trying to come out of it, right? So the gentleman that I was talking to today, and what I hear from people is, you don't look like, like you're in that position. So, since I guess since I'm not walking around disheveled, people don't know that you need help. People don't, and when I say help, of course, God helps, Almighty God helps those that help themselves. And so, like, you should always be working towards something, as far as getting yourself out of that situation. But when you run across people and they were like, well, the way that it's placed or put to you is, I would have helped you, but I had no idea because I'm looking at you. You look like you're just fine to me. So if I go some days and I look a little disheveled, you guys, it's a shame. It's like you have to put that out there to the world in order for people to really believe you. You know, you shouldn't have to, you can't present a neat, clean appearance without somebody saying, oh, this person must be running a scam. They really don't need help or whatever. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to definitely put that out to the public because I never really thought about it like that. And, you know, I get a lot of dirty looks based on having items with me. And again, there's nothing of value in my bags. And the things that I tend to wear, the reason why you see it's the size that it is because I had the little toaster oven. It cost you about $20. You know, just to warm up pizza or something like that during, you know, the winter months when it's cold, or just to, you know, whip something up really fast. So that, you know, it's the size of like a little bread box or whatever. And then you have just the changes of clothes that you have during the winter months. Of course, it's going to be more bulky. You might have a sweater, you might have, you know, boots and things that are a little bit more heavier. So you're going to need somewhere to put those items. And then, of course, you have your summer clothes, your transitional clothes for winter, spring, summer, and fall. So if you think about it, you don't have to, you know, and people have the luxury. I was one of those people that used to go and purchase new clothes every season when I was working, and had everything in a financial, you know, I was in the financial wellness or health to where I could go and replenish my wardrobe, just to get some, you know, some fresh things to wear. And of course, replenish my wardrobe. And even the items that I didn't wear in that situation, I donated to Battered Women's Shelter, this Goodwill up the street, because I used to live around here. I used to donate to that location as well. So if you haven't worn, the rule of thumb was if I hadn't worn something in at least 2 years, that it indeed, you know, was under consideration to be taken to the donation center for those that were in need. And so for me to be so close to this location now and, you know, possibly in need of some things or items, it's really, you know, and people think this is crazy. Like, the stuff, that's why community is important. As I posted about Rihanna today, this is not about vanity, y'all. This is about maintaining a neat, clean appearance. And, you know, you may need to actually go and interview or do Zoom interviews and things like that. But you cannot, you know, you have to think of essentials, things that are necessary, right? So these items that I have with me, if you think about 365 days a year, 7 days a week, having a change of clothes, and then, you know, there are only 7 days in a week. So really, during each season, you should have 7, you know, a maximum of 7 outfits, or if you're not working or whatever the situation may be, even less than that, you could have 3 or 4, you know. This is for those that are just transitioning into this situation, and I get this question a lot. How do you remain, yeah, excuse me, this hair is just, it doesn't bother me until I get on camera. But, yeah, as far as it getting in my face is what I'm saying. But I get the question posed to me a lot. How do you keep such a neat, clean appearance, or, you know, keep yourself together? And I'm realizing that some people really may not know how to do this, so I'm just explaining it. If you break it down, there are 365 days in a year. There are 7 days in a week, right? And 4 weeks in a month, right? So even if you don't have any money to wash your clothes, it costs about $3. To dry your clothes, it costs about, and depending on the size of the washer, they have different sizes now. I was really intrigued by that when I went to the laundromat the first time. As you know, always having a home with washer and dryer in my house. So I was like, oh, they got, you know, different sizes now, you know, like from the very smallest size load to a large, very extra large capacity charging all the way up into $10, $12 for a load where you could have, like for a full family wash. So I found that to be intriguing. I was like, oh, this is neat. But yeah, so you shouldn't have to, as a single person by yourself, having to maintain a clean appearance. You should be able to wash your clothes at the washateria or the laundromat. $3 a month or $3 every 2 weeks just to wash your items. And in the summer months, I've always been one to subscribe to, even when I had my own apartment and always had shelter, to washing things by hand. Because when you wash things by hand, they tend to last longer. They tend to retain the color on the fabric. And with the detergent, Woolite is what I used to use for everything, to maintain the appearance of the clothes, so you don't have color fading and stretching and things like that. And just a lot of, all of most of my clothes were delicate, required for washing and washed by hand anyway. So that's how I used to wash at home. So, when once I figured out the fact that it was going to be the same situation, I could wash things by hand. And during the summer months when it's not too cold, to where I could have my things dried. So I could dry things outside, so to speak. So I get this question, like I said, a lot. How do you keep a neat, clean appearance? And then, there's also keeping the things in storage, the items that you have. So it's not a game when I'm saying, well, I need to put this in storage or this should be in storage. The only reason why I don't have a storage unit right now is because I put the items in storage, as y'all know, previously. Within the last within the last 90 days, they were actually in storage. And the first month, they stated the first month was free, the way the contract was actually set up. So we're looking at $61 was the initial cost, and that was inclusive of administrative fees and also the lock itself, right? So, that month came and went, and of course it was time to pay another bill, right? When that new bill came in, it was $107. Okay, now I was aware that the rate may fluctuate, but not jump that severely, or double, which is why I try to get the least expensive. As you'll see, because I'll post the photo, a 5x5 is more than sufficient for me to put my items in, right? So we're looking at 100, it was 100, it jumped from $61 to $100, and I was like, I don't have $100 to apply towards this balance, right? And at the time, I had a part-time job. I was working for Schlotzsky's at that point. And unfortunately, it was not something I was able to continue. Because again, the storage unit, it's just weird. I can't get a consistency across the board if I have, this guy's about to start talking in the background and trying to be a distraction. So let me go outside here. This is what people do when they don't want you talking. The powers that be. They set up something like that. So let me go outside for a minute so I can finish what I'm saying. Ooh, excuse me, sir. Oh, and I'm in this gentleman's way too, I guess.